S.P. Lot. St. Daniel of the parking lot, help me find a parking spot. Is you is or is you not? St. Daniel of the parking lot. Welcome, everyone, to this pre-recorded version of my sermon regarding the Church of St. Daniel of Parking Lot Saints, with the emphasis on St. Daniel of the parking lot. In the meantime, outside of the chapel, parking space is limited, so only those who desire to witness this pre-recorded sermon will find parking. And the only way you can convey your desire is to take that ego, that profoundly crippling weight upon your soul, the one that says, me, 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 and take it out through your throat, via your belly button, or out of some other orifice. Take it out of your body, put it in a gym bag, and throw it in a trunk with the other bodies. You know they're there. You know where they're hidden. I know where they're hidden because St. Daniel has told me, revealed it in a dream. Every single petitioner, I know their dirty little closet secret. But I don't tell, I don't talk, I don't snitch. But here we go. Who is most desirous of the parking spot? Who is most worthy of the convenient parking spot? The one right next to the entrance door of this tiny little studio chapel shall be able to witness this. Witness this outside of the recording studio screen and watch me as I talk to the camera. St. Daniel of the parking lot, help me find a parking spot. Is you is or is you not? St. Daniel of the parking lot. It's opening up to you. Only you can be aware of the opportunity and take this moment to snag that precious position and close it up firmly, leaving just enough room for you to open the driver and passenger doors so whomever is in your vehicle can get out comfortably. And there it is. There we go. All secure, all parked. Oh my goodness, something happened. How did this go without this going? Oh no. Oh no. My apologies. Let's be here again. You're probably wondering why I'm talking like I'm talking. I was not aware. I probably did not put my ego in the trunk. I was so busy thinking about what I'm going to talk about because it is very important. But not that important. Now come on in. Come on in, everyone. Everyone who is in that car. Anyway. And I hope that you are all watching. I want to remind you that this is pre-recorded. It will be announced. I think it will be. We are now doing this on September 29th. It is a Wednesday. It is National Coffee Day. I found that out by securing my parking position next to the gas pump at a convenience store, and I walked in with very regal, of reverential demeanor, and I walked in and I procured a cup of coffee, and the very nice young lady behind the counter said, "Is that all?" And I said, "No, put the rest of this $20 bill on gas pump 3 and I will put it in my reverend car." Oh, I knew she was curious about my reverential status, but she did not ask a question, because sometimes the people around me are very reticent to ask me questions about my status as a minister and from which church I have come from, or from which denomination I am pledging my allegiance to. I know that's kind of a crude sentence, but I was taken aback, because when I went to put the gasoline into the car, I received a full $20 worth of petrol. I'm going to practice petrol because I want people to think I'm from the Church of England, perhaps, or something like that. Something a little more unique, a little more interesting than the standard dialect of any region of the United States. But I'll say petrol. $20 worth of petrol, a little less than 20 pounds, probably 15 pounds worth of petrol. And I went back and said, "You forgot to take out for the expense of the coffee." I thought maybe she just gave it to me as a donation because she liked my robes or whatever. And no, that was not the case. She says, "It's National Coffee Day today, sweetheart, and everybody's coffee is free." Well, it was something to celebrate because I was able to procure a large cup of coffee. And it's still out in the car because I learned my lesson last time. I spilled coffee all over the floor, and I sang about it. Taught you all how to sing over spilled coffee. But I don't want to sing over it again, so I left it in the car, secure. I capped the lid, and therefore it'll probably stay quite warm while I'm gone, and then it will be warm enough for me to drink, although I don't mind cold coffee. I just prefer to drink it either hot or lukewarm, room temperature. And it'll probably be room temperature or car temperature by the time I get back out and I can drink it and be my free cup of coffee. So go on down there and ask people. It's National Coffee Day. It might be International Coffee Day. I don't know. I'm not in another country today. I know it's National Coffee Day. Celebrate, percolate, caffeinate. Then go look for that parking spot. Then petition. St. Daniel loved coffee. In fact, one of the anecdotes that I took time to listen to Joe Fingers about was when he told me about the days he took St. Daniel to dialysis. And after hours of dialysis, when St. Daniel was tired and wanting to go home, he always wanted to go through the drive-thru of either Starbucks or McDonald's and get a large cup of coffee. He took cream and a little bit of sugar, or a little bit of cream and a lot of sugar. Even though he was diabetic, he broke the rules sometimes. And sometimes I was, well, not me, but sometimes Joe Fingers, no matter how much I despise him, tells a story about St. Daniel that is so true to life that I feel like I'm there and I can put myself every once in a while in Joe Fingers' shoes and realize or empathize or compartmentalize enough to know what he was feeling at the time. And sometimes I think Joe Fingers felt so close to St. Daniel there that even though he did not put any sugar in his coffee or any cream, this is Joe Fingers, he drank it straight. Even though he drank it straight, he drank it hot, and St. Daniel drank it with cream, sugar, and a little bit of ice because he was very sensitive to the heat. They shared this common beverage. They had a love for coffee. And despite our differences, and I'm going to go into many differences perhaps during this conversation. Oh yeah, in fact, I'm really going to tell a serious story near the end of this episode. So if you stuck with me so far, please stick with me to the very end. I have some introductory songs, some poems, some readings from the books of St. Daniel of Parking Lot Saints fame. And then we will get into the real story about biological brotherhood. That's all I'm going to say right now. Biological brotherhood. Because it's such an incendiary story, or Incendies Dairy story. It's such a fired up story that you're going to want to listen to it at the end. And I don't want anything to get in the way. Of course, this won't get in the way, but it's time for this. I walk with spirits that guide my hand as we get near it, the promised land. My brothers, my sisters, we are not alone. I walk with spirits, they take me home. I walk with spirits, they have my ear. They speak, I hear it, the message clear. Don't cry for family, don't cry for self. There's a world we know, there's something else. Yeah, 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 yeah. I walk with spirits, don't cry for family, don't cry for self. There's a world we know, there is something else. You don't have to believe that. You don't have to subscribe to that. But here's what I think it means. Don't cry for family, don't cry for self. Because there is so much more to what we are experiencing. There is so much more than what we see and what we feel. For instance, St. Daniel was basically just a hard-working, hard-drinking, sometimes hard-living, but after his children, just worked for his family and his experience. He was just another man doing the deal the way he thought he should be doing the deal. It was not until he transgressed from this world to the something else that we all began to realize his significance as a person who could help us with the little things in life. And why did he know about these things? He knew about these things because at first he wanted to help his beloved aunt. I said that in the last sermon. I read an excerpt of his prayer about how he petitioned the Lord to give him this ability so he could help the person who helped him most. Fix that microphone right there. I knew it was happening. My finger touched it. So help the person who helped him most. And then, from then on, he discounted it. And why did he discount this? Because he had several experiences that made him think the world, this world we know, discounted him. They discounted him. They discounted his passion. They discounted his intention. They discounted his love for the game. In so many ways, St. Daniel had a love for the game, this game of life, which presented itself to St. Daniel in the form of many games: baseball, football, basketball to a degree, but mostly baseball and football. And then for a certain period of time, middle school and high school athletics of any type. And then he basically saw the disregard for his abilities demonstrated while he was in high school. He was a high school athlete, second string football player, second string catcher, first string enthusiast. He only cared about the team. He only cared about doing his part for the team. And in certain ways and during certain times, like many of us, he was neglected because his gifts were thought to be minor, while the stars, the jocks, the big men on the high school campus, who were better looking and a little bit more talented enough to stand out in the crowd, to be ranked statewide and whatever the ranking system is, to be well thought of by the coach, to get pats on the butt from the cheerleaders, all that kind of stuff. He was bypassed by most people when the attention's paid on them. Well, he did the grunt work. He did the grunt work when he was online. I don't know what to call it. I'm not a football man. For the express reason I'm describing his trials and tribulations, I'm not a football man for that reason. Is that I will not tolerate this. It's probably why I will not be remembered, after I'm gone in the way that St. Daniel is, because I am not willing to suffer the way St. Daniel was willing to suffer. And when it was 3-on-1, 4-on-1, 5-on-1, he was on the center of that line with the ball, and they crushed him time and time and time again. This was during varsity practice, varsity scrimmage. Time and time and time again, he was smashed to the ground. The coach sat there and got some kind of sadistic pleasure in watching and wondering how much St. Daniel could take. I mean, St. Daniel should have gotten some kind of award, some kind of letter, some kind of scholarship, just because he was willing to take so much punishment in order to play the game he loved to play. Football. Same thing as a catcher. He did the stand-in grunt work while the stars preened and strutted and got to play most of the time, most of the game time, whatever they call that. I don't know what they call that. Now, the one thing I do know a little bit about is the one-on-one stuff. And St. Daniel, for a time, was a varsity wrestler. Now, St. Daniel, soaking wet, was 180 pounds. And if you let him pig out, and eat unnecessarily large amounts of food with extra layers of sweets and pies and cakes on top of it, he would get to 200 pounds. He was 6 feet, 200 pounds as a wrestler. So technically, I guess he was considered a heavyweight, 201 or whatever. And they put him in with giant people. These people were 6'4", 6'5", 215, 220, and they throw St. Daniel all over the mat. He should have been a light heavyweight, whatever the rankings are or whatever the weights are. I'm not familiar with wrestling. I'm only familiar with boxing because I'm an old school boxing fanatic. But enough about me. Old school, not MMA, not UFC, although I respect them, and St. Daniel did too. But my experience is with boxing, and all I know is the boxing weights. So he was classified as a heavyweight just so the coach, who happened to be the same coach who coached football for that particular high school, just so that coach could watch him get smashed to the ground because he got some kind of sadistic pleasure out of watching St. Daniel suffer, out of watching him suffer, out of watching him hurt, out of watching him lay down when he should have stayed down and get up when he should have stayed down. So that's grit. That's grit. St. Daniel's O went. The O didn't have to go. The O went probably the first match. It probably went. He won a few. He lost a few more. But that O went out the door pretty soon. St. Daniel did not care about the O. He did not care about that. He was past vanity when it came to the O. And in a way, he grew up understanding. He grew up with the message. Not only does the O go, the O has gone. You were born to lose. Born to lose. But that did not mean you had to lay down and let them walk all over you. If they were going to walk all over you, St. Daniel said, you're going to have to give them a fight. Give them someone to walk all over. Make sure that they earn their right to walk all over you. And St. Daniel made them earn the right to walk all over him. That's the only way he could become humble enough to understand that his gift was the gift that these big timers in high school who are now that they've gotten older, a lot of them struck out in college and university. A lot of them didn't make it. They were big in the high school thing. They weren't too good in college. A couple of them went on to the pros. Some of them played Canadian football. They got paid for it. Some of them were really good. I don't know how many of them became, reliable lifetime members of the NFL, not lifetime, but had a full career in the NFL, and it doesn't matter. Right now, today, if they're still walking and talking, if they're still alive, you know what they're doing? They're looking for the keys. They're looking for their parking lot. They're looking for whatever little thing they forgot to pick up from. They're finding out whether or not they left the dryer on or the coffee pot on at home. And they're saying, St. Daniel of the parking lot, help me find a parking spot so I can get out of the car and check on that coffee pot. Find out if it's still on. If it's going to burn down the entire house. If I left the door open so people can break in or the dogs can get out. Because, who let the dogs out? The person who didn't pray to St. Daniel. And so these people who laughed at him, these people who dogpiled on him, these people who crushed him to the ground, they're praying to him today. St. Daniel of the parking lot, help me find a parking spot. Is you or is you not St. Daniel of the parking lot? They don't even have to say they're sorry. They just have to demonstrate their change of heart by the way they treat the other losers of the world. The other people whose O didn't even have to get in the ring to lose their O. They lost their O before they even knew how to walk. Those people, that people who are kind to those people, you can change your ways, you can change your mind, you can see the error of your ways. Just like St. Daniel did at the end. He saw the error of his ways. The error. I say it like E-R-A, but I mean error, like E-R-R-O-R. It's going to sound the same because that's how I talk, and I've come to accept it. I tried to talk this way so people could understand exactly what I said, and I worked very hard, I worked very hard to correct that error. That's not me talking like this is me talking this way when I let my words trail off at the end of each sentence, because that's the way I enunciate things. Sometimes correctly, sometimes not. I mean, acceptance, that's what it's part of. Acceptance. Now, does St. Daniel always feel that way? No, he did not. I think I got something here. I got to take off my glasses. And I think he wrote this in commentary of his high school days. It's a letter from St. Daniel to EM/E. Someone on your ass telling you what to do, like he or she has some kind of power over you. All I can say is, to thine own self be true. All I can offer is my personal point of view, and it means what you want it to mean. Good, bad, or in between. Want to bring the castle down all around the king and queen? Then baby, do it. In the work hall to get your orders, the foreman likes to talk, saying, you know we're all winners here. And if you don't think so, then walk. Then he says, step over the line drawn on the floor in chalk. And I say, do it. If you don't know what it means, do it. Good, bad, or somewhere in between. Want to bring the castle down all around the knight and queen, the king and queen? Sometimes it's the knight, because you know the queen. Then baby, do it. Do it has one meaning, and that means do it. Do it has another that don't mean that at all. And if you know what that means, and if you want to heed the call, then baby, do it. Now, I don't know what he's talking about when you don't know what that means at all, when you're talking about do it. But I'm not St. Daniel. I just know that he did it. I got some chords here. I'm going to play them. They're St. Daniel chords. Where are they? I found them somewhere. Yeah, you want to blame me, then you can blame me. But I'm the same me you put in the game, see? You want to blame me, so you can blame me, but I'm the same me you put in the game, see? I'm the same me you put in the game, see? I'm the same me you put in the game, see? I'm the same me you put in the game, see? You wanna blame me, then you can blame me, but I'm the same me, yeah, I'm the same me that you went and put in the game, see? I used to let you until think, yeah. So I spent years spinning my wheels, doing drugs and taking a drink, 'cause you gave me, you wanna blame me, but I'm the same me, yeah, I'm the same me you put in the game, see, it's a shame. I learned my lesson, now I ain't guessing, the time is pressing, yeah, oh, you're stressing, I'm just sitting back here up in my cloud, 'cause I ain't gotta worry about this bullshit stuff no more. Yeah, I'm past it. I got what you're looking for. I ain't the same me, no, 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 sorry. Oh, you can't game me like you used to be. You're calling just to shrug me off. Now you need me, so you should heed me. I like you freed me the way it should be. Well, I freed myself. Ah, you can sit there and scoff. What can you do? Can you help yourself? If you can't, well, there's no one else who's gonna take the time help you find a parking spot. Yeah, you know a lot, yeah, but you ain't got what I got. Yeah, you ain't got the secret to trivial things. And so I'll leave you, yeah, I will leave you. I won't deceive you, nor will I grieve you. It's okay. Oh, let bygones be bygones. Let bygones be bygones. Let bygones be bygones. Now, I know some of you have pushed subscribe, and I know some of you know to push the bell in order to receive notices that the YouTube sermon show is going to be airing. It is most important that you do that now, because this is not a live feed. You cannot accidentally happen upon this without it being your intention to happen upon this. So if you press that little bell that's just above the subscribe button, whenever you subscribe, or if you've already subscribed, go look for that little bell on this episode. A little bell, push that, and you will be notified as to whenever I'm going to show up on the YouTube air. Now the plan as I know it, is going to be that we are going to record these shows, and then we're going to show them one at a time in sequence on Mondays, 11 a.m. That will be when they are, quote, dropped, end of quote. I don't know exactly what that means, except I know you can see them. I mean, literally, I don't think you have to drop your phone to watch them. But they will be dropped. They will be dropped, but don't drop your phone. Just push that bell, and you can see it. Please make some comments. We've had some wonderful comments about how grandparents and parents are educating their children and grandchildren as to the benefits of St. Daniel. And I do hope that some of these stories I have told today will also help these children understand that it might be tough as a kid, but if someone around you is aware of your gifts and encourages you to use them and practice them and to overcome some of the pressure socially that comes with being a child with other children and in a system that they call school. And I know that is different now because of the pandemic. I mean, it's different now in a lot of places. It's not that much different where I live, although it is a little bit different. But in a lot of places in the world and in this country, it's different that people don't actually go to school. I mean, this year I think a lot more people tried to do it, but you still have the cyber bullies and all of that kind of stuff. St. Daniel can help with this, can help children understand that your passion is the thing, that your interest is the thing, that whatever ability you have is the thing. It's the thing. Like me, for instance, I have the ability to champion the person or the entity or the person who was a person who is now a saint but is not a god. It goes into a long, detailed definition of what St. Daniel is now, up there in the ether someplace. His soul lives on. If you want to call it a soul, call it whatever you want to. I don't want to argue about anything. And since this is YouTube, I wanted to bring my vaccination card to make sure that I did not violate any vaccination standards on YouTube. Even mentioning this, I don't know, I might be taking a chance. It might be my ego wanting a little notoriety. I just don't want to make any trouble. I don't want to make any trouble for anybody because just me being me makes enough trouble. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But press that subscription and make some comments. Tell me, actually, if you could tell me, just let me know about the gifts, your gifts that you think are trivial, what you're trying to do to encourage your children to understand their gifts are not trivial, what other things you have interest in. You know, like some people are interested in conspiracy theories, perhaps. You know, sometimes I am. There was some rumor going around. I'm taking off my glasses so I can read. Some people get confused because I bear an eerie resemblance to my antagonist. I bear an eerie resemblance to my antagonist known as Joe Fingers. And even though I had trouble believing that he was the biological brother of St. Daniel of the parking lot, conclusively the evidence says yes, he is a biological brother, you know. And for years I was raised with this idea that blood is blood. There's no stronger connection than blood. But then I had the transformation, and I understood that, no, perhaps there is something stronger than blood. It is that spiritual blood, perhaps, that spiritual bonding that allows me to be closer to St. Daniel of the parking lot than he was ever close to his brother Daniel, even though he knows he's St. Daniel. And even though some of the stories I get or some of the stories from him, they have been further corroborated by other folks who were there at the time. So I separate the hyperbole, the outright lies from the facts of the miracles and the ideas presented here. Now, there is a rumor that the reason yesterday did not happen with my live feed is that I freaked out and started talking about some kind of conspiracy. There could be nothing further from the truth. I came to the studio with every intention of doing the live feed as close to on time as possible. I am a minister. I am a reverend. I am not quite right. I will agree to that. And sometimes one of the things I'm not quite right about is my timeliness. I'm not on time. I'm running late. And like many ministers, when I'm running late, many reverends, many men women, or non-binary folks of the cloth. Unlike many of them, I get a little bit hysterical when I'm late. I don't want to do that. That shows that I've taken the ego out of the trunk and I'm putting it back on like a vestment. But I did it, and I was a little hysterical. But no one was here. Nothing was here to be turned on. Nothing was here. There were no cameras. There were no people. Nothing was up. Just a little sign on the door that said closed for today with no explanation. Now, this is the studio basically run by Joe Fingers. I know there's another person who's the figurehead and that other things are being done. But on Tuesday afternoon, it's Joe Fingers' castle. Joe Fingers should have been here or left a note saying, "I'm sorry, Reverend, we're going to have to reschedule." So I left, spouting like, why are they against me? I'm just trying to help the memory or help the presence of his brother. I'm just trying to help the word be spread. That's all I wanted. So when I got home and I went to the mailbox to see if there was any correspondence, I received this ominous kind of threat wrapped in spiritual terms. And it's basically a poem with me in the first person. When I say I, it's whoever wrote this used me to represent the first person. I, the not quite right Reverend Joeseph Finga Smuths, Doctor of Divinity. To be a Doctor of Divinity, I do not have to be divine, nor do I have to know anything about divinity. All I have to do is pay my $20 and take the test. And that's what I did. But this is Black Candle, and when it says I am the I. I should not have crossed him, should have used my head. Last night I was tossing, shaking in my bed. I saw demons, heard the vipers hiss. I thought I was dreaming till a voice told me this: I could have taken you down for only 13 cents, the price of a bullet. But I'd rather knock you around, drive you crazy, and leave you with a few good dents. So I lit a black candle on you right after I went to Mass. Offered up a rosary is what I'll do, 'cause I lit a black candle on your ass. I ran to the table, searched and found my keys. Found my keys. I found my keys. Long as I was able, I'd do as I pleased. I ran to the mailbox, tripped and hit the street. I woke to the jive talk of the cop who was walking his beat. He said, by the look in your eyes, I determined damage to the brain. The cop sympathized, but he didn't listen. When I tried to explain, he lit a black candle on me right after he went to Mass. He offered up a rosary because he lit a black candle on my ass. I was hauled to the psych ward, told it was all in my head. I was told I'd be cared for, but I was thrown out on my ear instead because he lit a black candle on me. Right after he went to Mass, he offered up a rosary because he lit a black candle on my ass. Now I'm down on my luck. My liver's swollen and my legs are weak. My words often get stuck in my throat, so be patient and hear me when I speak. He lit a black candle on me right after he went to Mass. He offered up a rosary because he lit a black candle on my ass. Now I cannot certify with any great authority or accuracy as who wrote that ominous and threatening, though in the first person, with me as the representative first person, poem, song, letter. But it was a warning. I felt indeed it was a warning. And what was it a warning? Who was it from? What was it a warning about? And who was it from? Well, for some reason, I feel deep in my heart, because this did happen. This struck a chord, a memory, just like one of them movies where this guy was walking around and he looks like a cool guy, and then all of a sudden he kills 15 people because they misplaced his shirt at the laundry. And then he has flashbacks, remembering how he was trained to be a super agent or whatever. Well, I wasn't trained to be a super agent, but I remember this happening. I remember going to the psych ward, being thrown out on my ear. I remember someone saying, I could have killed you, but I want to see you squirm. And the face that's represented in that flashback is none other than Joe Finga, the blood brother, the biological brother of St. Daniel of the parking lot. Now, why would this happen? Well, I have a theory. Now, Joe Finga, he's trying to do something with his life finally. Old man trying to make up for lost time, trying to do something with his life, with his videos, his little studio. And he graciously says he's going to let me be here and do these videos. I believe this is a conspiracy. This conspiracy of the biological brotherhood, which is determined to discount and demean. I'm saying it here. YouTube can cut me off if they want to. To discount and demean the good work of St. Daniel of parking lot saints, that they want to trivialize to the nth degree the ability to create parking spots out of nothing, to shape shift earth and time, to mess with physics. I bet you St. Daniel even knows what gravity really is. But they want to discount that. The very fact that I could find my keys this morning has nothing to do with me and everything to do with St. Daniel and me being humble enough to do this. And I did not want to speak this truth because St. Daniel still gets upset if somebody gets mad at his brother. But I have to tell the truth because I'm not going to go down easily. I might lose this O, but I'm not going to go quietly. Joe Finga, you can do what you want, but I'm aware, to beware of the biological brotherhood. And with that, I will ceremoniously record my videos for future distribution at a place that is not going to be designated by Joe Finga. He's not going to know where it is. We're going to make it look the same, but it ain't going to be the same, ain't going to be in the same place. So we're going to see how this pans out. And I'd be very interested in what Joe Finga has to say about my accusations, because I have the information. So if you want to know more about what goes on with the biological brotherhood as they wage war against their siblings because of petty jealousy and egomaniacal pandering, then tune in next week. Well, you're going to see this on Monday. So a week from the Monday that you see this, which I think is October 4th. Yeah, should be. October 4th, 2021. At 11 a.m., you're going to see this. And then we're going to have some prizes and contests for people who are able to tell me more about this biological brotherhood conspiracy. Thank you very much. And remember, S.P. Lot. When you're down on the mat, and the guy's 50 pounds heavier than you, 50, 50, not 15, 50 pounds heavier than you, and you think he's going to break your arm, don't tap out. Let it rip.